Hi. So I've just watched an extremely powerful video put up by Russell Brand with an interview with Jordan Peterson, and it has inspired me to speak about the false light. So I know those of you that watch Felix Whitman, he has been doing a lot of posts at the moment bringing awareness to the false light. And essentially, I mean, this was a fucking powerful video. You know, he was almost sitting there in tears, and the message I want to give today is, I guess, about darkness, and that we have to understand as beings that we are sitting in an experience at this point in time that is asking of us to understand who it is that we are, what our history is as human beings, what has been hidden from us, what is being hidden in plain sight, what is coming up within us that is perceived as darkness, what is dark, what is light. And so I kind of wish to share my experience that happened last year with regards to me as a spiritual guide and ascension way shower, also figuring out that there is a false light matrix out there. And last year I went through what a lot of spiritual people would call the dark night of the soul, which I have no doubt many people and souls went through themselves. Mine was an experience that was hugely profound, and I'm really grateful for the experience, although it was terrifying at the time. Essentially, it asked of me to really look at my belief systems surrounding that which I teach. It asked of me to fully step into and embody the belief systems that I have, and also to discern certain belief systems, and to step away from the wishy-washy, mere verbal spewing of, I guess, spiritual words, and begin to get to the bottom of what it is that I am, what it is that I'm doing, and most importantly, what it is that I'm teaching and therefore embodying. What Jordan was speaking about is that malevolence is real. And this was brought to light to me last year, again, through my Dark Night of the Soul experience, where I was met actually over a period of about 3 months with a lot of this sort of psychic attack force. And yes, it was within my own reality and not half as expansive or powerful as the malevolent forces that are out there. And what I'm speaking of again is, please understand, everything is consciousness, everything has its place, and I have often mentioned and will probably continue to mention that this is a polarity experience. So it is inevitably going to be there. What he says is, we cannot be optimistic unless we have truly experienced pessimism. So we cannot truly be optimistic unless we are unbelievably pessimistic. And those pessimistic states comes into our reality field when certain information is brought into our awareness. And through what has been happening globally at this point in time, there have been many things in the media. You know, the biggest one, or the easiest one, is to speak of our COVID. Many others have been satanic rings, the use of satanic rituals within high-powered elites, the cabal, the dark agendas. And this is all within the physical reality. What we need to understand is that the physical reality extends beyond into the non-physical, that which we do not see, the higher dimensional aspects. And there are forces at play, tricksters, that come into our field masquerading as one thing, but in fact diverting our attention, and therefore our energetic stream, and therefore where we lay our energy to feed that malevolent consciousness. All right? And the media is one of those spaces. What I guess I'm sharing is that in order to shine the light into the darkness and bring strength to that light, to bring credibility to that light, to understand its force field, its force, we must look at the dark. And there are some super, super grimy topics that people are not looking at. I think I mentioned in the beginning that we are existing here on a planet Earth that has been an imprisoned planet for a long, long time. And this is where my Ascension teachings come in. I kind of dive you right into the deep end with Ascension teachings level 1, 2, and 3, asking you to fully understand your emotional system, your fear-based reality, the constructs that have been placed on you through archontic deception behaviors, all right? Through programming. We must begin to look at our reality as a program that can be hacked at any time. A Trojan horse in the coding can be inserted at any time, and the more the light shines, the more these hackers and these Trojans are going to enter into your field. And so yes, we are in a space of spiritual warfare. This is our polarity experience. Again, please understand that through your personal mastery, you will and can and do have the power within yourself, within your consciousness stream, those of your guides, those true guides that love you unconditionally only, that are not here masquerading as other guides, other entities, other ascended masters, other angelics, steering your ego, feeding your ego and putting you off path. Because those of us that are starseeds have a very, very strong mission here on earth, and it is only magnifying in intensity as the days and the months go past. Who and what is your enemy? Who and what is your enemy? What is powerful and profound about this statement is, it is usually you. It is usually yourself. And we become a false light enemy to ourselves when we do not fully look into the darkness and face it. When we do not fully realize what is happening on a galactic scale, when we do not fully raise our frequency to see through the smoke and mirrors, to understand how we have been deceived, how we are being controlled, how this has been a program for thousands and thousands and thousands of years beyond what the history books have taught you and have shown you. Who and what are your enemy? Once we understand that it begins with the self, we can then go into the information and start to re-empower ourselves by continually raising the frequency, understanding when we are in initiatory spaces in this battle of spiritual warfare. Malevolence is not the primary force. Source field in love and truth as a dominating oneness, the law of one frequency, is the force of nature in love and truth. But we cannot shift through to the source point unless we look at the false light and begin to discern the glitches in the programming. Where are we being controlled? What are we consenting to or being asked to consent to without our actual consent, our verbal consent, our energetic consent? Is it just coming through in mandates that are not even laws? We have to understand that humans, we are all powerful. We are all creationism energy. Where do we hand our energy over? To what governments? To what systems? To which doctors? To which mandates? How does it make us feel? And looking into that darkness is not comfortable. It is not comfortable at all. In fact, again, I'll share more of my false light experience last year. Being a spiritual guide and an ascension way shower, and coming into understanding that there is a false light matrix, shattered my reality. There was no more of this sitting in love and light. It was absolutely essential for me to sit and research and get all the information that I could through this absorption stage. So we go through ascension stages. This is also in the ascension teachings. Absorption is one of the stages. So this is an absorption stage at this particular timeline that is absolutely essential for all ascending souls to come into the space and realize what is happening. Once we have filtered through that information, we can step into our power again, step into our light, shifting our belief systems and stepping more and more and more and more into our power. All right. But with me, I kind of disconnected. I didn't have belief in the angelic realm. I didn't want to call in my guides. The only person, and this is a very, very powerful experience, the only being or soul aspect or energetic frequency that I was willing to call into my space as a support system was myself. And that's why I say, who or what is your enemy? So I needed to call in all aspects, all versions of myself across all timelines and dimensions, so that I knew that no being, entity, force field, because this is a force, I've mentioned this word often in this video, a force field, none of those force fields that were not me could enter into my space, play a game of smoke and mirrors with me, create distortions for my reality. And it was a very, very powerful lesson, especially as a spiritual worker and a light worker. I then understood what it is to do shadow work. And yes, shadow work in our personal sphere is very powerful, very painful, very necessary. And some would believe that certain aspects of the shadow work would fall under the dark night of the soul. However, when we begin to expand our consciousness and expand where we are looking at a bird's eye view of the actual reality, we begin to understand that there is a force field at play that is always this polarity experience between what we perceive as light and dark. Ashayana Dean is a video that came across my field many years ago that I rewatched last year, and this video was another sort of imprint on me as to how much false light reality there is out there. So those of you that are spiritually bypassing by staying in this field of love and light, thank you. But you are doing first and foremost yourself a disservice, as well as the collective field, and most importantly, Mother Earth. Because once we shift through those things, we can then bring in more light. We've moved through that absorption stage. We've moved through integration. We can then begin to receive more light, and start to deactivate the inorganic grid. So a false light matrix is an inorganic grid structure. All right. AI, for example's sake, is an inorganic grid structure. I'm not in this video saying that the AI is positive or negative. I'm merely mentioning that it is inorganic. all right? Yes, it is powerful. Yes, it has certain ways of raising technology, connecting us globally. But once we understand who we are as a being and a soul, it'll become really, really clear to us that we can communicate without that technology as we did millions and millions of years ago, through our telepathy, through our electromagnetic field, that force field around us that connects us. This is the objective of ascension. Not to be telepathic, but again, to raise your frequency, that we are not in need of these inorganic structures that are distortions and false light matrices that create dis-ease in our field. Because anything inorganic is going to affect you based on the universal laws. It's going to affect you. Cause and effect, the law of vibration, the law of frequency. What are these inorganic false light structures creating for your organic vessel? All right? And why this false light video is so important, and especially watching that Jordan Peterson video, you know, he kind of stated that he had pictures around his house that were representative of darkness. And it was there as a reminder for him to wake up, wake up, wake up. This is real within our reality. Now, please understand, I am not asking of you. I'm actually not asking anything of you. Not asking anything of you. I'm merely giving examples and teaching as always. It is not to say that you need to hang on to that darkness for it to be in your face all the time. What I'm saying is recognize it. Have a look deep into it. Be compassionate with it, because this darkness, this polarity is there to catapult you into your ascension cycle, into the birthing of your source matrix, the unique coding that is abundant, that is peaceful, that is high vibratory, that is powerful, that is a force field unto its own, shining an energy of love and truth. And that's why he says the light is only so bright insofar as it can overcome the darkness. And so the darker it is, the more credible the light. I'm going to read that again. The light is only so bright insofar as it can overcome the darkness. And so the darker it is, the more credible the light. So I don't ask you to focus on that darkness. I ask you to bring yourselves to awareness that it is part of our reality structure, that it is there hiding in plain sight. The most awful of awful things. It is time to understand that not all people and not all souls are good. And I do believe that most humans are inherently good, but these false light matrices start to distort the pattern of your organic structure, disconnect you, separate you from that source energy. And then where does your energetic frequency go? Where does your attention go? Where does your energy go? So it's not to harper and to hang on to this dark information. It is merely to bring yourself to awareness with it, to read it, to look at it in the face, and then to know that you can overcome this. But each and every individual within this planetary system needs to raise their frequency, come to an understanding of their power, and shine their light, shine. Be of service to others. We are here to master this earth reality. And mastery comes in many ways, shapes and forms. It asks of us to look at many things. And we can master it all. It is within our potential. It is within our blueprint. We have done so before, and we will do so again. All of us. I send you guys the most massive amounts of love and mostly compassion, very particularly towards this particular topic. Those of you moving through your false light teachings at the moment, it does come to an end. You will begin to integrate it, and then we step into our creationism energy. And then we step into our ascended master energy, and then we step into our angelic selves, our avatar selves, those selves that we know are connected to source, those selves that we know are creating the new earth. This is why, dear ones, ascension is my number one objective within this life path. It is my earth's mission to do so for myself and to help you guys out there, because then we can dismantle these old structures, these satanic structures, these archontic deception behavior structures, these programs, these Trojan horses within our coding. Guys, I'm going to end off there. I keep forgetting to do so, so I'm going to not forget this time. Please check out my Ascension teachings. All right, there is level 1 and level 2. And in actual fact, now that I'm doing this video, these Ascension teachings were created at that exact same time last year when it came into my field around the false light matrix. So this is really, really important step. Those of you that are not within South Africa, can't come and do ceremony with me, are moving through whatever ascension program or symptoms or awakening that you are going through, this is super, super powerful for you. Ascension teachings level 1, level 2. I'm still working on level 3 because it goes really, really deep down into the rabbit hole, and it may take a year or two for me to do. But for now, Ascension teachings level 1 and level 2, the link is in the bio. Those of you that are in South Africa, I am hosting and running my elemental alchemy retreats, so please check onto that link and just move through. The website is not complete yet, so just move through the information. You can check out the testimonials, you can check out the About Me page, just a little story of how I got into the spiritual work, and then join the Telegram group and you can book your ceremony through that Telegram group. And then again, guys, with regards to this false light, please sign on now to the decentralized platform that is also in the link in the bio, just in case I am no longer on this platform. You know, I wish I was as famous as Full Good with 100,000 million followers, but for now, I'm absolutely grateful for each and every single one of you that listen to my videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please continue to listen and to share. And again, remember, most importantly, you are love and I love you. Cheers.